Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. I have a hashtag I want to do. I saw Simon at the Herman's Cave do this hashtag to Sandra earlier. She used to be the Whispering Well, but I can't remember what he said she was now. I will post that below. But she did a tag. I can't even remember the hashtag. Hold on a second. Okay, it was my hashtag my top 5 weird strange decks or something like that. Either way, I'll make it right in the bottom. Simon did a few bonuses on top of his top 5. I have 2, but they're two bonus decks, but they're the same deck. One's just they're 2 different sizes. But I have 5 decks that I wanted to show you guys that I think probably are the weirdest and strangest in my collection. And what shocked me is these are the first 5 I thought of. And the Deviant Moon is not included in that, which is strange because it used to be one of my most weird and strange decks. So that's crazy. So without further ado, we're doing my top 5 strange, weird, strange decks. And I have 5 decks. So we'll go with this one because it's the Dream Keepers Tarot by Liz Houston. It is a U.S. Games deck. I saw this deck many moons ago on Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. And her, I think, father and stepmother had bought this from a local vendor in California. They were selling this artist's deck. And it was an indie version of this deck. And then I was like, oh, I love the backs here. I was like, I want this deck. It's really cool. It's different. Very different at the time for me. And I was like, I need this deck in my life because it reminds me a lot of the dreams I have. And I thought it was very weird and strange, especially here with the 5 of Swords. That's creepy. She's got a moon head. I mean, it's just weird. And then all of a sudden it came out mass market. I'm like, oh, wow. And so I bought it. But there was a huge time there. I love this Temperance card. It's probably one of my favorite Temperance cards. Because when I first started doing my spiritual journey, I felt like, and I still feel like, everything is a puzzle, and I'm getting little bits and pieces of the puzzle here and there, but I don't have the whole picture yet. And that spoke to me greatly when I first got this deck, and started seeing that all the time. I was like, that's crazy. So yeah, that's one of the reasons that's my favorite, one of my favorite Temperance cards. The Strength card, creepy AF, but I've learned to deal with it. But this deck reminds me a lot of my dreams. I've had some wild, crazy dreams. This is the Lover's card. It's the card that always makes me think of this deck when I see this card. She's got spider arms and legs. It's a very dream state deck, and I use this deck for dreams. It's very interesting. It's got one of my favorite Wheel of Fortune cards too, but we can't find them at the moment. Yeah, there they are, the Fates. I love that. And I went to a metaphysical fair today, and every time I walk around this one area, I started having where I couldn't talk, and I was having what do you call it? Like clearing my throat a lot. And then I felt like somebody was breathing down my neck. So I had clearly there was a spirit or somebody with me. And I may do a spread on that tomorrow. It's late now, but I saw this tag and I had to jump on it. But I went to Metaphysical Fair, got me some really cool pink amethyst here, bumblebee jasper, and mookite. Beautiful. I just posted that in my video I'm uploading now. And it was beautiful. And I was just like, I had a really good time, except for the spirit kept trying to come through that wouldn't give me any information on who they were or who they belonged to. But I went with a friend and she had a reading done that lasted like over an hour. It was weird because they just kept talking. And every time I would walk by, and it was funny because it was one of the 4 people that was doing tarot readings. None of them, except for her, was doing the reading while I was there. But every time I'd walk by one of them, I would start I would start having to clear my throat, not being able to breathe right, and it felt like somebody was breathing on my right side, on my neck. Anyway, it was just weird because it belonged to one of those 4. I just don't remember who, and I don't know. I was like, hey, can I get a name? I even tried to clear my space, and it just wouldn't leave me alone. But I never got any information, so what do you do in that moment, in that instance? It's weird. Anyway, on to deck 2. So this deck also, and I made a beautiful little pouch for it. Made a really long pouch. This is the Lorenzi Tarot. This deck is also like the Dream Keepers. It's a US Games deck also. Got these really cool backs. It reminds me of some dreams I've had. It is very weird and strange. There's a lot of, weirdness going on here. Lots of weirdness. Look at that. And I said before, this deck makes me think we're looking at like pre-creation here. Like, I hate the snakes. Ugh. We're looking at like the fallen angels, it looks like. It reminds me, it looks like they're putting together God or whoever is creating, like here's the Queen of Swords, this is the Justice card. They're both being created and they're not quite animated yet. She's getting her heart put into place. Freaking wands are all about the snakes. I hate it. The lovers that get snakes around their heads. It just, ugh. But it makes me think, you're seeing this, pre-creation story going on. Like you're seeing, like this clearly didn't work, or we would have them here today. I mean, that's a piranha in his stomach. But the peacocks work, so they're here. And we decided, whoever decided, we'll do the drop without the piranha in his stomach. This guy, he's getting animated. He's putting, his heart's going in. The hangman it makes me think of this pre-creation thing, but it also is very dreamlike to me. Very something I would see in my dreams. And like this, it makes me think of, we created this bird and this works, so we're going to put it in this bubble till we can get it on the Earth's surface. That's how I feel with this deck. I've always felt that with this deck when I bought it. It's different. And it makes me think that we're looking at a pre-creation kind of deck here. Wheel of Fortune. Interesting. I don't know why these are all turned around all of a sudden. It's a very, very different. Very, very different. And I love it. Those two I mainly use for dream stuff because I have the most wild, crazy dreams ever. So, yeah. So that's 2 decks. We gotta hurry this up. Deck 3. It's the mini Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot by Los Scarabero. This on the next deck, I got minis up because there's no way I would be able to handle full size. Just because they are so weird. And I think this one more than the other one triggers a lot of my childhood trauma. It also triggers a lot of past relationship stuff. So, for that reason, this deck creeps me out. I love the images. I love the art. But there's a lot of it that's very hard-hitting and very in your face. And I have a very hard time with it sometimes. This deck is not one that I would always reach for. But it is a deck that needs to be in my collection. Just so I can learn to get past some of the awkwardness of some of the cards. And I think that's what this deck is here to teach me. Is this, yeah, like this one with the cake. Look at the, his face here is like, dear God, what is happening? Even he's like, I don't know what's happening. Yeah, there's a lot of, yeah, and then I talked about this one before. Yep, so that is a Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot, the mini. Like I said, this and the next deck, I know I would not be able to handle a full-size version of these decks. That's why they're minis. And the other one I haven't really used because it creeps me out so bad. And that is deck number 4, Fabio Linestrani, Night Sun Tarot, also Lo Scarabero. This is, from what I've been told, a Thoth-based deck. If you've ever seen the Ghost of Mars, and I've talked about this before, this deck reminds me of, this is Mars. It literally feels like some out of this world, crazy. I mean, some of the images are too much, too hard to handle. It's just like, oh. But if you've ever seen the movie Ghost of Mars, this is that deck. This is a Mars deck for sure. And it just really, some of it really creeps me out. Really creeps me out. This hermit creeps me out. Look at his face. That's not going to let me do it. But yeah, I don't know that I would ever be able to get this in full size. And I got it because I was curious. And I barely used it. I used it for the Deacon Walk at the time when I got it. Which, for some reason, all the cards were Cups cards. Look at that. Death card. That just really... It creeps me out. The string card, yeah, it creeps me out. The Magician. Look at that. I can't. It's very, very, very few and far between using this deck. It's creepy. I got it because I was curious, and then when I got it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I wouldn't be able to handle a full size of this. I barely handled the mini. Because it's so crazy. So we're on to the last deck, and the first deck I thought of in this, for this, because it is one of my probably top 20 decks. I love it. It gets my intuitive juices flowing. It's fabulous, and it's also a Lo Scarabero, and it's the Surrealist Tarot by Luigi di Giammarino, Lo Scarabero deck. So see a pattern here. 3 of the 5 are Lo Scarabero, and then the other 2 were U.S. games. So this is your typical tuck box Lo Scarabero deck. It is weird and strange, but it's not like the last 2 I just showed were they're triggers. They're very much a trigger deck. This one is, I'm just enjoying this crazy art, and it's beautiful, and there's so much going on that you can get hits. Like, that's an extra card. You can, why? Oh, it's an extra card. It's just crazy, and I love it. I love this deck. I don't know why. I must like surrealist artwork. But, as you can see, the box is frayed. I've used this deck a lot, and I freaking love it. So this is probably my number 1. I would say this is my number 1 of the Weird and Strange, my number 1 top fave, because I love the coloring in it. I love the differences, the weirdness in it, the strangeness in it. And again, it reminds me of the dreams I've had. 90% of my dreams are very chaotic and very out there. And I could totally see this being me walking up in the desert and this being the scene I see. That's how my dreams are. They're very crazy and chaotic. And it's almost like this deck is like keeping up with the pace of my dreams. Whereas the other ones, there's a lot of insightful, when I find the dream that I can't really interpret. The Dreamkeeper's Tarot and the Lorenzi Tarot are those decks that kind of help delve deeper into that. Whereas this one is like, we're on the same level. And I understand it. It understands me. It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful deck. I love it. It's the first card I pulled from here. 7 of Cups. Gorgeous. And the colors are beautiful. And it's just weird and strange, and I love it to pieces. Love it. Hardcore. Might actually leave this out and use it this week coming. We'll see. It's beautiful. And it's the first deck I thought of when I thought about this prompt. So that is it for my top 5. So the runner-up, whatever, I got a mini and a mini, a mini and a mini. These are from Peggy Papez pouches here. But this is, and I could not let it go. I could not get one of his decks. Could not have one of his decks in here. This is the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. This is the mini, and you can see it's wore out. And then this is the mini, or the I say card size, I guess, where I get, like, this is like a bridge size, and then this is like a tiny mini deck. But the reason I pulled this, and I just want to show both copies, but I'm going to show this one because it's easier to handle. And there's more cards in this one because I didn't have them all in that one. The reason I say this deck is weird and strange, it's not that it's the images, because they're very simple and straightforward. This is my crazy out there deck simply because when I use this deck, all my intuitive juices start flowing. All my psychic abilities open up. And this deck has been so deadly, I've talked about this, so deadly accurate that it's creepy. I talked about when I got the Journey of the Sacred Bee, and I was like, oh, and I actually pulled the cards, and I'm like, where is my bee? And then it literally fell, these 2 cards fell out, and I literally heard someone say, your bee is at home. And then when I went and checked, it had just been delivered to my mailbox. So this deck is deadly accurate, and it's so accurate, it's creepy. I don't usually read the information that came with it because I read it intuitively, and it is blown me away the amount of times. I mean, it's never been wrong. From the hits that I've gotten off of it, if I pull a card and I hear something, like I said, all my intuitive gifts start opening up, and I hear things and I see things, and it's blown my mind. It's so crazy. And this is why this is my runner-up. Not because of the images, but because how creepily accurate this deck is. So yeah, that's it. That's my hashtag VR to Simon and Sandra. If you guys have any questions, comments, concern, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And y'all have a good night. Bye.